What if the long list of blood tests you get every year is missing the 3 numbers that matter most to your future? A lot of seniors walk into a yearly visit thinking more blood work means better care. The shocking truth is that extra tests can create stress, false alarms, and bills, while the biggest risks still slip by. Hit subscribe right now, because what I'm about to show you could save you money, worry, and maybe even a hospital stay. Tap like too, because you'll want to find this again before your next checkup. Most people have no idea that one slightly off lab result can send you into weeks of repeat testing for something that was never a real problem. That happens all the time when doctors order big routine panels with no clear reason. I'm not saying blood tests are bad. I'm saying random blood tests are bad. In this video, you'll learn the only 3 blood tests most seniors should make sure get real attention every year, why these 3 matter more than a laundry list of extras, which common tests are often not needed every single year unless you have a reason, and the exact words you can say at your next visit to keep the conversation smart and simple. Let me show you exactly how to stop paying for noise and start asking for signal. If you stay to the end, I'll walk you through a simple doctor visit script you can use word for word. Here's the reality. A lot of yearly lab work gets ordered by habit, not because it will change what happens to you next. You show up fasting, they draw 5 or 6 tubes, and then you wait for results you don't even understand. One number comes back a little high, another comes back a little low. Then you get a portal message that says, "Let's repeat in 6 weeks." Now you're stressed. Your family is stressed, and most of the time, nothing important changes. That's the trap. The goal of good testing is not more data. The goal is useful data. Cleveland Clinic says blood tests at an annual visit should depend on the conversation you have with your doctor, not just a routine list. And Choosing Wisely and other preventive care groups keep warning that routine yearly labs without a real reason can cause more harm than help. So let's make this simple and practical for you. The first test to ask about is your A1C, or sometimes a fasting blood sugar. This is the test that helps catch prediabetes and diabetes before they quietly damage your nerves, eyes, kidneys, and heart. A1C is just a 3-month average of your blood sugar. That's it. Simple. You may feel totally fine and still have a problem growing in the background. That's why this one matters. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends diabetes screening for adults with extra weight or other risk factors, and older adults often have several of those risk factors already. Age, belly weight, blood pressure, family history, less movement, and sleep problems all raise the odds. So if you're a senior and nobody has talked to you about this number in a while, that should get your attention. Here's exactly what you say. "Can we check my A1C or fasting blood sugar this year? And if it's high, what would we do next?" Word for word, memorize that line. That question works because it does 2 smart things at once. First, it points your doctor toward a test that can catch a silent problem early. Second, it forces the visit to stay focused on action, not random information, action. If the answer is, yes, we'd work on food, walking, sleep, or maybe medicine, then the test has value. If the answer is vague, now you know to ask more questions. Bad way. Most seniors say, "Just run whatever you usually run." Then they leave with a pile of results and no clue what matters. Good way. Smart seniors say, "Can we check my A1C or fasting blood sugar this year? And if it's high, what would we do next?" Then the visit stays focused and the result can actually change your plan. Watch what happens when this test is skipped in the wrong person. A senior feels tired, thirsty, or just older. They shrug it off. Months pass, maybe a year. Then they end up with numb feet, blurry vision, more bathroom trips at night, or a scary ER visit for very high sugar. That is not rare. The ugly part is that diabetes often grows quietly. You don't feel it early. You feel the damage later. Now watch the good outcome. You ask for the test. Your A1C comes back in the pre-diabetes range. Not diabetes yet. That gives you time. Time to cut back on sugary drinks. Time to walk after dinner. Time to drop some weight. Time to talk through medicine if you need it. Time is the prize. early testing buys time. This comes straight from major screening guidelines. They say fasting glucose and A1C are real screening tools, not fluff. And if you already have diabetes, this number is even more important because it tells you whether your current plan is working or drifting. That matters for your eyes, kidneys, nerves, and heart. Here's the trick they don't want you knowing. You are allowed to ask what any test will change before you agree to it. You are allowed to ask why one test matters more than 5 others. And yes, asking that is 100% legal. It's your blood, it's your time, it's your money. No one should make you feel silly for asking. Still watching? Good. Drop a comment and tell me which number you actually know right now. Your A1C, your cholesterol, or neither. I want to see how many people have been kept in the dark. The second test to ask about is your lipid panel. That's your cholesterol test. It checks LDL, the bad cholesterol that helps clog arteries, HDL, the good cholesterol, and triglycerides, which are blood fats. Mayo Clinic says high cholesterol usually causes no symptoms. That's why people get blindsided by heart attacks and strokes. You can feel normal while plaque is quietly building in your arteries. And if you're a senior, this matters even more because your risk goes up with age, high blood pressure, diabetes, smoking history, family history, and not moving enough. Here's exactly what you say. Can we review my full lipid panel this year and tell me what my stroke and heart risk looks like? Say those exact words. That line works because it turns the test into a real conversation, not just your cholesterol is fine or your cholesterol is high. You want context, you want risk, you want to know if the number matters for you. A senior with diabetes and high blood pressure is not the same as a senior with great blood pressure, no smoking history, and no heart disease in the family. Same lab, different meaning. Bad way. Most seniors say, if something is wrong, just message me. Then they get a portal note, a refill, and no real plan. Good way. Smart seniors say, can we review my full lipid panel this year and tell me what my stroke and heart risk looks like? Then they leave knowing whether food, walking, weight loss, or a statin really fits their situation. Here's the reality. A cholesterol test is not about winning a gold star for a perfect number. It's about lowering your chance of the event you never want. The stroke that steals your speech, the heart attack that changes your whole life, the bypass surgery you never saw coming. If you already take a cholesterol medicine, regular follow-up becomes even more useful because you want to know if the treatment is working. If you've never had the full conversation, this is where you stop guessing. A lot of people get distracted by flashy add-on tests when they haven't even mastered the basics. That makes no sense. Before you chase fancy numbers, make sure the simple stuff is handled. Your lipid panel is basic, but basic is powerful. Doctors use it because it can actually change your treatment. That is the key idea through this whole video. Useful tests change what happens next. And let's talk about one more mistake. Some seniors hear, your cholesterol is a little high, and they panic. Others hear the same thing and ignore it. Both are bad moves. A little high number might mean very different things depending on your age, blood pressure, diabetes status, smoking history, and medicine use. That's why you ask for the risk talk, not just the raw number. If your doctor says your panel is stable and your risk is low, great. If your doctor says your LDL is high enough that treatment could lower your heart attack risk, that matters too. Either way, the test earns its place because it helps make a decision. That is what good screening is supposed to do. Major heart guidelines and Mayo Clinic both back the value of cholesterol testing because it helps catch a danger you usually can't feel until it's too late. The third test to ask about is your kidney function blood test, usually creatinine and something called eGFR. Don't let that name scare you. eGFR is just an estimate of how well your kidneys filter waste. That's it. Your doctor may order it as part of a basic metabolic panel or a comprehensive metabolic panel. If you have high blood pressure, diabetes, swelling, heart problems, or you take certain medicines like water pills, anti-inflammatory pain pills, or blood pressure drugs, This one matters a lot. Kidney trouble can be very quiet. By the time you feel it, you may already be behind. Here's exactly what you say. Can we check my kidney function this year, especially my creatinine and eGFR, and tell me if any of my medicines affect it? Word for word. Keep that one ready. Listen closely because this is critical. Your kidneys do not just go bad one day out of nowhere. They usually drift, slowly, silently. And if you're a senior, your odds go up because blood pressure, diabetes, dehydration, and medicine side effects all hit the kidneys hard. That means you don't want a random vitamin test before you know whether the organs filtering your blood are doing their job. Bad way. Most seniors say, I feel okay, so my kidneys must be fine. Then years of pressure, sugar, or medicine side effects keep doing damage in silence. Good way. Smart seniors say, can we check my kidney function this year, especially my creatinine and eGFR, and tell me if any of my medicines affect it? Then problems get caught earlier, doses get adjusted sooner, and surprises get smaller. This test works because it ties directly to decisions. Should your blood pressure medicine stay the same? Should you avoid certain pain pills? Do you need better diabetes control? Do you need more water? Do you need a urine test too? The answer starts with kidney function. Kidney groups and family medicine guidelines say people with diabetes or high blood pressure should be checked regularly because kidney disease is common and often invisible. Now let's clear up a huge confusion point. I'm not saying every other blood test is trash. I'm saying many other tests are not automatic yearly tests for every senior. That includes routine vitamin D testing in healthy people, routine thyroid testing when you have no symptoms, routine B12 screening when you have no risk factors, and routine CBCs just because we always do that. Those tests can absolutely make sense if you have symptoms, a condition, a medicine, or a medical reason. But not every test deserves a yearly VIP pass. Watch what happens when you flip the conversation. Instead of saying yes to a giant panel, you ask, which of these tests would change my care this year? A good doctor will usually love that question because it gets both of you out of autopilot. And asking that is 100% legal. More than that, it's smart. You are not being difficult. You are being informed. Most people already clicked away. If you're still here, you're ahead of the crowd. Drop a comment saying, I'm still here, because the next part may save you from a lot of useless repeat testing. Now let's put the big picture together. The reason these 3 tests rise to the top is simple. They target the 3 quiet problems that hit seniors hard and often grow in the dark: blood sugar trouble, artery trouble, and kidney trouble. Diabetes can hurt your nerves, eyes, heart, and kidneys. Bad cholesterol can help set up heart attacks and strokes. Kidney decline can change how your whole body handles fluid, waste, and medicine. These are not random numbers. These are action numbers. And here's the evidence in plain English. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force says blood sugar screening with A1C or fasting glucose matters for adults with risk factors because diabetes and prediabetes are worth finding before damage grows. Mayo Clinic explains that cholesterol testing matters because high cholesterol usually has no symptoms, yet it raises the risk of heart disease and stroke. Family medicine and kidney groups keep pushing regular kidney checks for people with diabetes or high blood pressure because kidney disease is common and often silent. On the other side, Choosing Wisely says not to order annual blood work without a real clinical reason. Northwestern experts said routine lab testing in people without symptoms can create false positives, extra cost, and anxiety. Harvard also points out that routine vitamin D screening in healthy adults is usually not supported by good evidence, and average risk adults do not need routine B12 screening. Here's the reality. Good medicine is not about checking everything. It's about checking what actually helps you. So what does this look like in real life? Let me show you exactly how your next visit could go. Wrong way first. You sit down. The doctor is busy. You say, just order whatever I usually get. Nobody talks through your real risks. Nobody asks which results would change your plan. A week later, your portal lights up. Vitamin D is a little low. 1 blood count is a hair off. Thyroid is borderline, maybe, sort of. Now you're repeating labs, Googling scary stuff, and worrying your spouse for no reason. Meanwhile, nobody gave you a clear answer on your blood sugar trend, your cholesterol risk, or whether your kidneys are tolerating your medicines. Now the right way. You sit down and say, before we do a big lab panel, can we focus on the tests that would most change my care this year? That one sentence changes the whole tone. Then you go step by step. First you say, can you check my A1C or fasting blood sugar this year? And if it's high, what would we do next? Now the doctor has to think about diabetes risk and action. Then you say, can you review my full lipid panel this year and tell me what my stroke and heart risk looks like? Now the conversation shifts from random cholesterol talk to actual prevention. Then you say, can you check my kidney function this year, especially my creatinine and eGFR, and tell me if any of my medicines affect it? Now you're covering a silent problem that matters a lot in older adults. If the doctor wants extra tests, that's fine. You just ask, what would this result change for me? If there's a good reason, great. If there isn't, maybe you skip it for now. That is how you protect yourself from useless testing without ignoring real problems. You are not refusing care. You are asking for focused care. Next video, I'm breaking down the common blood tests many adults get automatically, like vitamin D, thyroid, B12, and CBC, and when they actually do make sense. Subscribe right now so you don't miss it, because that one could save you from years of low-value testing. So let's lock this in. First, ask about A1C or fasting glucose, because blood sugar problems can stay hidden for years. Second, ask for a real lipid panel discussion, because cholesterol matters when you connect it to your heart and stroke risk. Third, ask about kidney function, because your kidneys can quietly drift, especially if you have blood pressure issues, diabetes, or multiple medicines. And finally, stop thinking more tests always mean better care. Better care means the right tests for your risks. Hit subscribe so you catch the next video on which routine blood tests you may not need every year. Smash like if this helped you feel more confident before your next checkup. And drop a comment telling me which of these 3 tests you're asking about first.